Hello Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. We're going to pull some oracle cards and then some tarot for you. But as always, please come into this reading with an open heart and an open mind. Take away only what resonates for you and release the rest. Trust your own intuition above all else because you are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's go ahead and set the intention now to get my Aries gang out there watching some clear, helpful, and insightful messages for wherever they are currently at on their spiritual path. All right, Aries, let's see. Happy solar eclipse. Happy birthday. You guys are kind of the star of this solar eclipse. So Monday, April 8th, solar eclipse. I believe it's 19 degrees of Aries. So if you have placements around there, it might be particularly significant for you. All right, let's see what's coming through in the tarot reading. So the main issue at hand, you have the Nine of Coins. All right, so possibly something to do with financial matters, financial independence. Also, the recognition of your value and your worth. This can be a card of feeling confident. But I don't know, for you, it might be feeling like you need to prove to someone that you are good enough or capable enough. All right, so the immediate help available to you. You have the Page of Wands. We'll talk about what all this means. Qualities that you need, actions to take. You have the Ace of Cups. What's going on in the past? The Five of Cups. All right, so maybe some financial hardship or feeling some loss of some kind. It's really impacted you emotionally. So how the energy is impacting you currently. Best advice on how to use the energy available to you in order to get to your overall goal, which is the High Priestess. All right, so let's look at this. So right smack in the center of your spread, you have the Nine of Coins. So again, it's all about self-value and self-worth. The Nine of Coins, lady, it's Venus and Virgo. So Venus being things we love and admire, but our ability to relate to others, the need to seek comfort and peace, establish harmony, not just with the world around us, but particularly with ourselves, finding internal balance within. That's super important because ultimately that's what's showing up as either your goal or something you're looking to accomplish, in the coming weeks. The High Priestess is maternally moon energy. It's very kind of emotional feeling, psychic energy, but it's matured, right? It's a major arcana. So this is establishing some sort of emotional peace after possibly a period of turbulence, because coming up in the past, you have the Five of Cups. So it's like there could be a process of healing, especially maybe if you went through a breakup of some kind, with the Five of Cups, understanding that two cups still remain here. So there is something to be gained from this, or there's something to be salvaged. But with that, you're probably in a period right now where you're either going at it alone or you're forced to step up and undertake some sort of important task or obstacle. And I'm not saying you're completely alone, but there is sort of this idea of I kind of have to do it for myself. Maybe you're looking to prove something to yourself because it's going to show you just how powerful and strong and badass you are, sort of with, that's something I would say with the Nine of Pentacles lady. The word loyalty is always very important too with the Nine of Coins, the Nine of Pentacles. The typical depiction always has a falcon, and it's this idea of if you love something, set it free, and if it's yours, it'll come back to you. But with that, it already has come back. There's an established loyalty. So a lot of times, because any nine is a lot about the independent stuff that we go through, is there enough loyalty and devotion to yourself and to your own goals and to what you want? And if not, how is that affecting you emotionally, but also how is that affecting you financially and possibly even how you view yourself as worthy? All right. So in the past, again, Five of Cups, it's sometimes it can be the crying over spilled milk card. I tend to think that's a little bit condescending, because when we're going through a Five of Cups energy, it is very taxing. It is very exhausting. And it's a process that involves grieving, more or less. So the loss of something or just feeling worried or troubled, really impacting us. So in terms of how that's affecting your mental state, what are you thinking? King of Swords. There could be a striking out or a breaking free. The King of Swords is Aquarian energy, which is all about sort of rebellion and breaking away because it's ruled by planet Uranus. If it doesn't have to do with detaching or severing or cutting, which, the King of Swords can do, and I'm not sure it does. I'm actually being told to say it might not involve the cutting or the severing. It may actually be the more intellectual capacity of needing to have a very, very important conversation. I'm hearing the word stern. It could be, a very serious conversation about maybe where things need to be edited or allocated, or just being really truthful with yourself too, and maybe where you've been giving too much of yourself away and maybe not getting paid well for it, right? What you're feeling is Three of Pentacles, though. So yeah, I don't think there's like an abandoned ship type mentality here. Three of Pentacles is about building. And what's interesting is Three of Pentacles is typically a card of teamwork and partnership. It's usually shown with multiple people pitching in. But what's interesting in this one is that it's just one person showing up. And that's sort of what I'm getting with the Nine of Pentacles. So I'm wondering, in fact, all these cards are very independent. Even like the Ace of Cups, it's the One. So I'm wondering if you guys are sort of starting off on this journey that is more self-focused. And it doesn't mean there aren't people and characters surrounding you and part of your narrative. Of course there are. You're not completely isolating and you know, I don't necessarily see hermit mode here. But that being said, it's like putting more focus and priority on you for a change versus, you know, on your kids or on your husband, on your wife, you know, on your career, with your boss, with, you know, constantly needing to be busy with like a social calendar and social schedules and, you know, committing to plans with your friends and, you know, not breaking them even when your body's like, hey, I'm kind of done for the day. Yeah, it's almost like I'm seeing like a hamster wheel, like running on that wheel and trying to keep up. It could be that you're starting to realize, and maybe this just comes with age naturally, it's starting to take a toll on your body. And so maybe there's a grieving of like giving up on an old lifestyle or an old pattern in how you used to show up in relationships. And now it's like you're showing up for yourself more. Emotionally, though, you have a Pentacles card, which is like, and because like the goal here is to get our emotions sort of back in check and back in balance. Now, maybe that's your goal, or maybe that's what the universe is really advising you to do here. With the Three of Pentacles, it like, I'm almost wanting to say, are you not wanting to feel the emotions connected to this and throwing yourself into work to avoid that sort of uncomfortable truth? Because ultimately what your action or advice card is the Ace of Cups, which is about feeling the feelings and the emotional truth of the situation. But I also think it's indicative of, are you pouring from an empty cup? Where do you need to like restore and revitalize your health and your body and just your energy for your own sanity? But yeah, it's sort of like a pulling back of your energy, because you're coming from a place of, you know what, like I'm actually important too, you know? Again, no longer giving yourself away just to anyone and everyone. And maybe with that, there might be some sort of negotiation of money coming through here for some of you. Emotionally, though, like you feel like there's some sort of potential. Again, as I was saying, there's not this like, I'm just going to cut and sever all ties and abandon ship. It's almost like, you know, there's a need to negotiate with someone here or draw firmer boundary lines, but I think you still want to work with them. But you may be addressing a situation where you're not necessarily always feeling valued, or again, maybe you're doing all like the heavy labor and someone else is sort of reaping the benefit or the reward of that. And you're like, hey, like, let's talk about that. Like, that's no longer cool with me. And, you know, maybe you're speaking an emotional truth, but it's also coming from a place of practicality too. It's just like, you know, this can't continue. It's just like, it's not sustainable, especially in regards to partnership too. So the immediate help available you have to you is the Page of Wands. So your ability to communicate or your ability to express yourself. It's an excellent card of communication, but it's small communications. I think that you're thinking a lot of things. There's a lot of things you'd like to say, and maybe they're a little bit cold and harsh, like a hard-hitting truth. But with that, it's almost like if and when you choose to have a conversation with someone or multiple people, you may soften it up a little bit or bring a little bit more warmth to it. You may start with maybe one of your, I don't want to say complaints, but more or less like one thing that needs to be addressed versus like the whole enchilada with the King of Swords. It's like we're starting off as the Page. That being said, and this will make sense for everyone out there, but this could also be, in some ways, a help that you have available to you is your child. Maybe sort of leaning into, when you are stressed out or sad, leaning into like the playful, joyful energy that your child sort of emotes or exudes. Remembering that there's other things in life too, even during our darkest days. There's a reason to find joy and pleasure in the world around us. This could be, the help available to you may be like physical movement and exercise, getting out and sort of getting that energy that's kind of stuck within us or agitated, allowing it to sort of release from our body via exercise or play or sports or some sort of fun hobby, some game, something you do purely for pleasure and enjoyment and fun. That may involve your children too. But ultimately, what's going to help like reset your battery and get you to sort of this like calm, cool, and collected, everything is in balance again, High Priestess, it does say you can utilize your Page of Wands energy. So maybe it is self-expression. Maybe it's, again, releasing that pent-up energy. Or yeah, I don't know, something to do with your child, hanging out with your child or your kid. I think this is about being able to see things from another perspective too, because I'm almost wanting to say something about this scenario may be impacting a child in sort of like the greater sense. So maybe, I don't know, like maybe your boss is having to take more time off of work and you're picking up their slack because they're having childcare issues. Like there's maybe a factor of children coming into this that you don't necessarily realize, even if it's not your own child. And yeah, with the Hanged Man, it's like, again, something that's going to help us utilize, the Page of Wands is already available to you, aka like you can whip out this Page of Wands energy and utilize it to help you through the situation now. We've talked about that a lot, right? Also, like the bridge from that Page of Wands helping energy to the High Priestess, which is again like calm, cool, and collected, being able to speak about things when necessary. But also, this also says to me like, your silence speaks volumes too, because the High Priestess is not a loud communicator or a chatty person. It's almost very silent energy. So this almost says to me like psychically, whoever is involved here, they already know where you stand. I think with the Page of Wands, it wouldn't hurt you to express it a little bit, but the King of Swords needing to come down and sever something or up and leave or up and quit, it's not going to come down to that. There's going to be like another solution, but yeah, with the Hanged Man here, it's like, I think in time, and especially if you separate yourself from sort of like the crisis of emotion or whatever you're going through, and I don't necessarily get that, that's more in the past, but I think you're going to be able to see things from a different perspective. That being said, you are being put in an uncomfortable position, and there is a need to be a good advocate for yourself, especially in regards to, hey, like I feel disrespected here, or I don't feel valued here. That's going to be super important to some of my Aries. So the qualities you need that you aren't necessarily utilizing, but also you may have to work for a little bit, is this Ace of Cups. So again, like the expression of our emotional truth rather than just coming at people with like combative energy. I also think nourishing and healing your body, quite literally drinking more water, spending time near water, because you have some watery energy here. It's like the need to get calm and collected. It's almost like the need to put out some sort of internal fire. And that's a weird thing to say to an Aries, right? Because you guys are a fire sign. So it has nothing to do with suppressing who you are. But I think, I don't know, with Virgo energy, there's a need to edit or adapt or... yeah, edit. I think edit is the best word. Almost like proofread energy. Before you come out with this expression or this truth, it's almost like we have to... I'm hearing like soak it in some water so it doesn't come out as harsh or as bombastic as it could had we not taken time to actually be more thoughtful and practical with what we're trying to express. Maybe this is an emotional truth you're expressing to someone you love. Or maybe it's like, hey, I'm pouring from an empty cup. Like I'm doing all this work for my boss, for my job, and like I'm not getting back what I need. Maybe there's an imbalance in energy, like the energy being put into something versus what you get out of it. That seems to be a little bit out of whack, and I think that's why the High Priestess is coming in as the ultimate goal here, because it's very similar to the Justice card, the scales, Libra energy, setting things back into balance and harmony. Harmony in relationships, but also I am getting harmony in like financial matters too. Maybe you got an unexpected bill and now you're having to grind a little bit extra at work and you're like, hey honey, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, like, can you help me out here? Like, can you, like, I don't know, asking someone else to step up and support you in some way. Maybe there's another fire sign in your life, possibly a younger fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, that could be of great support to you at this time. All right, let's pull a couple of these for Aries. So you have create. That feels very magician energy, knowing that you have the power of manifestation at your fingertips whenever you choose. Yeah, the master manifester, something about creation and also maybe creative solutions to your problems as well. I also see this as sort of like a microphone, or the pen is mightier than the sword. Some of you may choose to express your grievance in writing, or at minimum to sort of get something out, and then you can edit it and decide how you want to present it in a more tactful way. That's a very like Aries Libra polarity energy, which is where this eclipse is happening. It's like, Aries, you got to say what you need to say. You have to fight for what is important. You don't want to be sort of like the doormat or constantly catering to other people. But again, where's that middle ground where you can express it without necessarily like tearing someone a new one? You like, that's what I mean. Like the pen is mightier than the sword. There's something about being more tactful or diplomatic or saying what you need to say, but phrasing it a way where you're going to get people on your team and on board and in agreement with you, versus alienating yourself. And I think that's what the High Priestess is saying too. It's not saying don't speak. It's saying before you speak, think about the repercussions or the consequence, or not even that, just the overall reaction. Because, you know, things might be emotional right now. With the advice or guidance being the Ace of Cups, you may get a very emotional reaction from someone because maybe you don't know everything that they're going through. That might be why the Hangman is coming up here too, to be like, you may actually see this from another perspective. So best not say something in haste and come to regret it later. Yeah, there might be a need to hold back a little bit versus expressing everything you want to say with the Four of Pentacles. There is a holding back energy. And that's not the ultimate goal, but it is sort of with the High Priestess and the Four of Pentacles, it's something more restrictive. It's needing to be more choosy and discerning with what we say or how we move forward with our Ace of Cups, with our emotional truth. But yeah, all the tools are available to you. All the tools are on your table with like kind of this magician, creator, manifestor energy. So you can do this. There's no doubt that you can do it literally now, but is the universe saying, are you ready to do it now? Are you mentally prepared? Are you emotionally prepared? I think there's a need to like think this through a little bit more. So then you have the Labyrinth. This is about a journey. Something about meeting in the middle too. And this feels very psychological too, of like something that maybe you have been repressing or suppressing or not vocalizing or not exercising. I almost mean that with an X, like exercising from your body, this pent up energy or whatever. You might be spinning out because of it. It's almost like the what is that, like mythological creature in the center of the labyrinth? Something has been building up and now it's become a monster, when really with the King of Swords, if we can really lean into our emotional intelligence and understand that this doesn't have to be a monster or a beast, but with 15, it almost is sort of leading up to a tower moment of needing to free ourselves from something that has been a long time coming. And I think at the end, it's going to feel great. There's going to be an ability to release and breathe and exhale. But yeah, it's like we're still finding our way out of the labyrinth. And again, there might be a need to edit or take an alternate path. That's such a good metaphor for what we're doing here, to take an alternate path. And then you have the King, sovereign of realms, monarch, authority, rule, and inheritance. So maybe this has to do with a boss or an authority figure or someone who you feel has power over your money, or something with the structure of money, your household income. Maybe, again, it's a spouse or a partner. But this character, sort of, this archetypal character is playing a role in your reading this week. All right, Aries, that's what I got for you. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I appreciate your time. Please do hit the like button. I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I post readings. And if you want more content from me, I am on Instagram and Facebook as The Intuitive Teacup. Take care, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, Aries.